A community's trust is a police officer's greatest asset. And that trust forms the crux of our conversation today in the light of several issues that recently cast an uncomplimentary light on the Nigerian police force. Meanwhile, we bring you those stories on our FCT in Focus, and we have an update on the major stories from Nigeria's presidency in our Abuja wrap. This is Dateline Abuja. Hello and welcome to Dateline Abuja. I am Kayla Magwa. President Bola Tinubu is back in Abuja after a series of trips that saw Nigeria sign quite a number of agreements. But that's not all that's happened in Nigeria's presidency. Here's more on our Abuja wrap.
President Bola Tinubu left France on Monday for Cape Town, South Africa, to co-chair the 11th session of the Nigeria-South Africa Binational Commission alongside President Cyril Ramaphosa of South Africa. According to the statement by the Special Advisor on Information and Strategy, Bayo Onanuga, the event, scheduled for Tuesday, December 3, will be preceded by a ministerial meeting on December 2 at the South African Parliament building in Cape Town. And President Bola Tinubu has called for an anti-illegal mining group in Africa to combat the instability and loss of income caused by illegal miners across the continent. The president was speaking during the opening ceremony of the 11th session of the Nigeria-South Africa Binational Commission, which he co-chaired with South African President Cyril Ramaphosa in South Africa. The president highlighted the importance of cooperation between the continent's two largest economies for the benefit of their people. And President Cyril Ramaphosa has disclosed that Nigeria-South Africa Joint Ministerial Advisory Council on Industry, Trade and Investment has commenced work to enhance economic cooperation between the two leading African economies. Speaking in Cape Town at the Nigeria-South Africa Business Roundtable, President Ramaphosa acknowledged the strategic importance of both nations in their respective regions and the need to diversify trade relations to move beyond oil and gas dependency. At the roundtable, President Bola Tinubu assured that Nigeria is open for business and ready to provide stability, security, and the rule of law for business to thrive. Vice President Kashim Shettima has charged members of the National Council on Privatization to strive towards maximizing value from the nation's core national assets for the benefit of Nigerians. The Vice President said this during the fourth meeting of the Council held in his office at the Presidential Villa, where he notes that the nation's core national assets are critical to the economic agenda of President Bola Tinubu's administration. At the meeting, an update on the establishment of the Nigeria Independent System Operator to the National Council on Privatization aimed at improving grid management, transparency and reliability, as well as a proposal to relocate 4 turbines from Afam Power Plant to Ugeli Power Plant were presented. And President Bola Tinubu arrived Abuja from Cape Town, South Africa, where he attended the 11th session of the Nigeria-South Africa Binational Commission. The president, who arrived at Nnamdi Azikiwe International Airport around 9 p.m., was received on arrival by the Minister of the FCT, Mr. Nyesom Wike, the Chief of Staff to the President, Mr. Femi Gbajabiamila, the APC National Chairman, Abdullahi Ganduje, and other top government officials. The president left Abuja for a state visit to France on the 27th of November, following an invitation from President Emmanuel Macron before heading to South Africa. The Senate has reaffirmed its commitment to advancing the tax reform bills, stressing that no aspect of the legislative process has been suspended or withdrawn. The Senate President, Godswill Akpabio, said this during plenary that the upper chamber remains focused on its mandate to represent Nigerians' interests and will not be intimidated by external pressures. The Senate President, against the backdrop of a point of order raised by the leader of the Senate, Opeyemi Bamidele, dismissed reports in the media suggesting that deliberations on the bills have been suspended or withdrawn.
Welcome back. This week, we beam our searchlight on the Nigerian police in the light of some stories emanating from the force. Their commitment to cybersecurity and how they handle accusations from Amnesty International, the smuggling scandal, the instruction given about tinted cars, and the Summit on Police Accountability are all features in our FCT in Focus. Please watch this. On the 3rd of November 2024, the Nigeria Police Force announced the arrest of 130 suspects, comprising 113 Chinese and Malaysian nationals, 87 males and 26 females, and their 17 Nigerian collaborators, 4 males and 13 females, for their alleged involvement in high-level cyber crimes, hacking, and activities that threaten national security. The police public relations officer, ACP Olumuyiwa Adejobi, says the operation was conducted through a coordinated raid on a building at the next cash and carry area of Jahi, Abuja, where the suspects were reportedly using computers and other sophisticated devices to facilitate criminal activities. During the investigation, he said operatives of the NPF-NCCC recovered a vast array of digital critical evidence believed to be instrumental in the syndicate's cybercrime operations.
The Inspector General of Police, IGP Olukayode Adeolu Completely, NPM has reaffirmed the capabilities and expertise of the Nigerian Police Force in tackling cyber crimes and protecting cyberspace in Nigeria and beyond. The IGP made this known while commending the efforts of police operatives attached to the National Cyber Crime Center and Zone 7 commands of Nigerian Police Force for busting a group of foreign nationals involved in a series of cyber crimes, including internet fraud and marketing scams in Abuja. The Nigerian Police Force will continue to work closely with international law enforcement agencies and embassies to track and prosecute cyber criminals, combat cybercrime and other forms of transnational criminal activity, and ensure that perpetrators are held accountable under Nigerian law.
Claims of brutality by human rights group Amnesty International during the last August #EndBadGovernance protest is refuted by the police.
The Nigerian Police Force has expressed serious concern regarding a recent 34-page report released by Amnesty International, which alleges police brutality, culpability in the deaths and arrests of protesters, and the use of excessive force during the End Bad Governance protest in August 2024. The force categorically refutes these allegations as unfounded, misleading, and inconsistent with incident reports submitted to the Office of the Inspector General of Police by affected commands.
Although the force reiterates that throughout the protests, it operated in compliance with established rules of engagement, including providing security for peaceful protesters, the Inspector General of Police has ordered an investigation into the report to unravel possible breaches. A few days after, security experts gathered in Abuja for the inaugural National Summit on Police Accountability to discuss strategies for enhancing the safety of lives and properties. The event commenced with a call for greater collaboration between the public and the Nigerian police, emphasizing the importance of adopting innovative approaches to improve security.
The need for credible, effective, and efficient police officers is beyond the mere lip service and the all-passion policy formulation and execution.
Policing is not just enforcing the law, but also fostering trust and collective efficacy within our communities. When citizens view the police as fair, effective, and trustworthy, they become more inclined to take collective action, to intervene when confronted with deviance.
Inspector General of Police Kayode Egbetokun reaffirmed his commitment to leading a responsible and accountable police force dedicated to effective service delivery.
Effective police accountability cannot be achieved by the police alone. It demands a collaborative approach involving government agencies, civil society, oversight bodies, and the public. As we discuss strategies at this summit, I want to assure you all of the Nigeria Police Force commitment to fostering a culture of accountability. We are dedicated to building a system where every officer, regardless of rank, upholds justice and equity, and where every citizen can hold us accountable.
The summit also underscored the need for government support at all levels to enable the police maintain accountability.
To whom much is given, much is expected. What is the corollary? To whom little is given, it is stupid to expect much.
Peter Maduoma, acting executive director of Clean Foundation, highlighted insufficient funds as a key factor undermining police accountability.
This particular summit is focused on police accountability. And one of the things that formed it is that we have looked at the Nigerian police and the journey so far in terms of reforms, in terms of improvement of the police.
Organizers of the one-day summit emphasized that its goal is to establish a police force that is both effective and accountable to the people it serves. In another development, the Commissioner of Police in charge of the Federal Capital Territory, Mr. Olatunji Disu, is warning against the illegal use of cars with tinted glasses in the nation's capital, as he vows to clamp down on such users. Addressing a news conference in Abuja, Mr. Disu says the enforcement of the law on tinted glasses is aimed at curtailing the increasing cases of one-chance operators who masquerade as commercial cab drivers to abduct residents. The Commissioner of Police explained that since the launch of the Command's Special Tactical Team, the Command has impounded 296 vehicles for violations such as the use of tinted glasses, driving with only one plate number, and the use of concealed or defaced number plates.
We are happy to inform residents of the Federal Capital Territory of the arrest of 6 different groups of one-chance operators, 6 different groups of operators of one chance, and they are here for you to see and interview yourself. But there is something of significance for us to note. We have been able to recover 6 of their vehicles that they use for these one chance operations, and you are all going to see these vehicles. One thing is in common with all the vehicles. All the vehicles they use for one chance are tinted. So that forms our opinion. We have been able to go out. We are clamping down on all commercial vehicles and everybody tinting their vehicles. We need to see people in their vehicles. Tinted glass is contributing to a lot of lawlessness. A lot of the victims kidnapped that we have rescued have given us their word that the tinted glass made it impossible for people to know they were in distress.
Meanwhile, the Nigerian police is refuting allegations circulating in the media suggesting that the Inspector General of Police, Kayode Egbetokun, is shielding a cartel accused of smuggling suspicious new banknotes from the Central Bank of Nigeria. Addressing a news conference in Abuja, the force public relations officer says the force categorically refutes these claims, condemning them as baseless and an orchestrated attempt to tarnish the reputation of the Inspector General of Police and the integrity of the police force. The force public relations officer explains that the officers involved in the scandal have been suspended, having been found culpable of serious misconduct, tampering with exhibits, abuse of office, corrupt practice, illegal duty, and acts unbecoming of a police officer.
These officers, led by Inspector Esther Okafo, on the instruction of DSP Peter Ejike, unlawfully arrested Andrew Eja, an employee of Fat Cargo Nigeria Limited, who was conveying the cash sum of 74,950,000 naira only on behalf of clients. Acting without authorization, they detained Mr. Eja at Zone 7 headquarters Abuja and deliberately misrepresented the recovered amount as 31,790,000 naira only. The officers further demanded a percentage of the funds to suppress the case.
As the year comes to a close, the Nigerian Police Force, and especially the FCT Police Command, have an opportunity to take stock of their affairs and note areas of improvement to minimize stories that bring disrepute to the force and engender the trust from the Nigerian people as they seek collaborations with them, keep the country and indeed the nation's capital safe.
My guest on the program is Vincent Onyekwelu, a security expert, former British police officer, and national security risk strategist. Mr. Vincent Onyekwelu, welcome to Dateline Abuja.
Thanks for having me. Hello, Nigerians.
So let's talk a little bit about some of these stories that are coming out from the police force. Of course, I know you've been following them, being a former police officer yourself, even though you're a British police officer. But just, as someone who looks at national security and the police in Nigeria, what did you make of a lot of these recent stories, this smuggling thing, the Amnesty International situation, all of these stories that do not cast a good light on the Nigerian police force? What do you make of them?
I think these are part of the global policing. Amnesty International raises a concern about what happened during the bad governance protest. They have every jurisdiction to do that. And it's the responsibility of the Nigerian police force to do due diligence to respond. And I believe the Nigerian police force has responded with all level of due diligence. So it's now for us to now do more investigations. However, the challenge here will be who is going to do the investigations to make sure that A, Amnesty International is right, or B, Amnesty International is wrong. Now, if we have to now rely on the same police force to do this investigation, are we 100% sure to get the total honesty about their findings?
What about this, story about some smuggling, about the cash situation and cabal, and of course we heard the force PRO, denying those reports and saying investigations have been going on. I mean, there's so many of these stories, really. I mean, but what do you make of that, and what it does to the trust deficit that the Nigerian already has with the police?
If we live in a society where honesty is still possible, where honesty is still achievable, I would know that this does not just fall on the table of the Nigerian police force. I would believe that the EFCC should also be involved to carry out their own investigation. I still believe that even the Central Bank of Nigeria has to also carry out their own investigation. Even the DSS has to also look into this matter. So by the time we get reports from the EFCC that all is good, then from the DSS, from the CBN itself, and then from the Nigerian police force. So we can say collectively that all seems to be good. So I would suggest that this kind of investigation should not just be about the police force involved, even though the Nigerian police force, I will tell you the truth, they have this penchant for not taking it lightly with any of their officers that has been seen or known to have committed such atrocities. And I can tell you for free that some of the officers whom their names were mentioned, they were even on live stream. This is what I picked up from the X handle of the Police NG account. I saw men and women that we have found to be culpable for this particular cash transaction. So I think I'll give the police a very big mark for being responsible and for punishing and for making it open, unlike other agencies in Nigeria, whereby if any of their officers commit such crime, they will tend to say, oh, this person is a national asset that we have trained to the rank of so rank. We cannot allow him or her to be disgraced publicly. So I think the police has shown a level of responsibility to even shame and name her officers that were involved. And I think other agencies have to copy to name and shame their officers, to tell them that it is wrong. But if you go this route, if we get you, you'll be named and shamed. So kudos to the Nigerian police service. I've noticed a consistency, not only FCT, Lagos, Imo State, Akwa Ibom, that PPROs have abandoned the official police NG command of their state to now use their own private accounts to do policing work. It's dangerous. As a former police officer, when you do this, there will be posts you talk about your family, your loved ones, your husband, your wife, your children. You use the same X account to be doing police work when dangerous criminals were being profiled and arrested. Organized criminals take that very particular. They feel insulted when they see their chief or their don being taken away by your men with your showing your face. It's dangerous that someday they may hunt you down. It could be when you've left the service. That is why we don't mix up private life with policing life. Every crime has to be reported only on the official FCT Police NG account.
Is there a reason why there is an upsurge in one-chance operations in the FCT from time to time? Mr. Benigwe, when he was CP, had the same issue. And now Mr. Disu is repeating the exact same thing. Are we treating a symptom and ignoring the disease?
Number one, we have 4 states that are neighbors to the FCT. I think Kaduna, Kogi, Nasarawa, and Niger State. Now, if you want to exit FCT from these 4 places to go, why can't we get them monitored? Why can't we get cameras on these routes? Number 2, now we know that one of the reasons why people fall victim to one chance is because of the poor transportation system in the FCT. FCT deserves to have better train lines than what we have now. If you walk in the central business district and you live in Lube or in Kubwa, you should have a train line that can take you home. We need to work on the transportation in the FCT because it's because of the epileptic transportation that innocent people fall victim of one chance. Please do permit me to talk about the issue of foreign nationals that were recently arrested in Abuja with involvement in so-called cybercrime. Listen, the issue of crime reportage must be a total holistic affair. I'm not impressed with the reportage from that particular issue. Why do I say this? We heard about, there was no mention about their nationalities, but I heard about Chinese and Bangladesh involved. Something that is missing there is, are they in the country legally? If they are in the country legally, what kind of visa? Who invited them? When you do that kind of empirical investigation, you find out if it was one company or one individual or group of companies that invited them, you start to paint a picture of who is behind them, because there must be a Nigerian touch to all these foreigners.
You know, with the Yuletide coming, how should people be, as an expert, and of course we're waiting for that advisory from the FCT Police Command on how people should conduct themselves during the Yuletide. What advice do you have for Nigerians, especially with warnings out there about the hookup culture and the uncertainties about this particular time of the year?
If you go hooking up, you go crying up. Because if you want to hook up to girls or to boys you don't know, listen, the dangers are there. You'll be lucky if you end up hooking up and losing your mobile phone, because there's a risk of even losing your life or having some serious injury. Desist from these hookups. It's not right. When you drive, don't drive too late. It's dangerous to drive late. And when you drive, don't tailgate. Don't follow the vehicle in your front too close, that in case of emergency, what we call ICE, you have a chance to swerve right or left. So when you are following a vehicle, make sure you can see the back 2 tires of the vehicle. If you can see them, that means you can swerve right or swerve left and run away in case of emergency.
Well, I think that's all the time that we have. We do have to end it there, but I'm going to take that one with me. Make sure you can see the 2 back tires. That's how you know you're at a safe distance from the car in front of you. I want to thank you very much for being with us on Dateline Abuja, and good luck with all the work you have ahead of you, and happy holidays.
Same to you. Thank you.
Thanks to my guest and to everyone who spoke to us today on the program. Remember to let us know the happenings in your neighborhood using the social media handles showing right now on your screens. Thank you so much for watching. I'm Kayla Magwa. See you next time.